So Martin is back. Does Aubameyang solve Chelsea's problems this season, or past reputation, will he add to them?
Well, I actually feel he's a top-class player, as you know. The 13 goals that he scored at Barcelona were enough for them to secure Champions League football again once more.
Yeah, but he's problematic, as he's proven.
Well, he's had one really issue with Arteta. Throughout, if you look at his career in general, he's been pretty prolific in front of goal. I think he's been an okay character to work with. Tuchel is actually saying that himself. Xavi has actually said he was a gift from God when he turned up at Barcelona. So, we can clash though, can't we? We can clash. Sometimes Simon and I clash.
Do you?
Yeah, occasionally.
Yeah, and then Martin comes around to my way of thinking.
So it's one of those where I think it's Tuchel obviously knows how to get the best from him. They've got a special relationship.
Yeah, but come on, Martin. Arsenal and Arteta kicked him out because of what he was up to.
And they're better for it.
He did, and they're
better for it.
And I hope they got some of that £12 million, by the way, that Barcelona are now getting for him. If he was allowed to go there on a free, then that's even bigger disaster there.
So
I understand.
What does he do? Does he, on past reputation, Chelsea's problems this season, does he add to them? Or
I think he's going to definitely improve that goal scoring.
Is he going to improve them?
They very definitely need a striker that's in that focal point, someone that will score goals. It was quite prolific for Arsenal, 93 goals, was it? 150 odd games. As we've said already about Barcelona, this is a top goal scorer, Jim. There's no doubt about that. First of all, he's been through a really difficult, frightening experience. Someone hit him with a crowbar and broke his jaw earlier in the week. So first of all, they need to get him back on the pitch. You're probably going to need an operation.
Of course, and on a serious note, yes.
In the long term, I do feel that he will add something to their
But going
attack.
back to the Arsenal experience, has he learned his lesson? Because that was a very public...
Well, there are questions you'll have to ask him. And, he hasn't actually given his account of what actually happened between the manager. It was a personal falling out between the manager.
It'd be great to hear it, wouldn't it?
Well, maybe we might, but I think what he's got to do is he has said he's got unfinished business and he's here to score goals. So I think he's going to be a man on a mission.
So at 33, Simon, who's getting the best side of this deal, Chelsea or Aubameyang?
Bit of both, I suspect. I mean, he will play for Tuchel, and Tuchel will tolerate his nonsense. And in some respect, he embodies the modern-day footballer because he has an innate amount of ability, and from the looks of things, and it is an outside view, a predetermined outlook and what he thinks he's entitled to do and what he thinks he's not entitled to do. He came to this country, not my moniker, it was a moniker given to him with a title of being a little bit of a playboy and a little bit laissez-faire, but a great talent. At that time, Arsenal weren't one of the big six clubs. They were in amongst it, but when he signed for them, they were a club in decline. None of the big clubs that were winning things wanted to sign Aubameyang because, for whatever reason, despite the prolific goal scoring that he brought to the table, he wasn't somebody that people wanted to sign. Arsenal signed him. He did very well for them. I have little doubt that for a period of time, you stick that fellow in your dressing room and in your team, he will get you goals because that's what he does. And then inch by inch, yard by yard, the leopard will revert and not change its spots. And he will be someone that's problematic to manage. What Tuchel has at this moment in time is a problem. He has a problem in his team. He's made a holics of a Lukaku signing. He needs a centre-forward. They doesn't seem to be able to get one. And so they go to what they know. He was a massive extoller of Aubameyang's virtues. So you got what you wanted. I hope he doesn't get to get the title of a well-written book called Be Careful What You Wish by myself, but I hope he doesn't get a sentiment of be careful what you wish for, because Aubameyang will give him goals, but for the next 2 years, it will not be without problems, I suspect.
Yeah. What if Tuchel gets sacked? Say results go against him and Tuchel goes, Martin. Then Chelsea are left with a fellow perceived to be a problem player.
Yeah, but that's just you looking at the negatives. Let's supposing it works and he's successful.
It's a relevant question.
Well, it happens all the time, doesn't it, at Chelsea? I mean, how long does the manager survive there on general? What's the average length of time?
So there you go.
So it goes with the territory. He's the manager currently. He wants the best players available, and he's gone for him. I feel it's not a bad bit of business. Only time will tell, Jim, really. But I do still feel he's at a top level. But 33 years of age, he's going to be on the downside, but he can do it. Maybe for another 18 months. That might just be long enough to keep Tuchel in the job.
He's lucky. Lucky Tuchel's in charge of Chelsea. Because I don't think he'd get back into the Premier League, one of the top six clubs, if it wasn't for Tuchel being at Chelsea. And the answer to your question is that if Tuchel isn't there, and the reason why Tuchel probably still has more lives is because the regime has changed. Abramovich is not there. The standards of how they hired and fired managers has changed. Todd Bowley is a new guy building a new regime, so he'll give him that latitude to be successful or fail under his regime. So he will be there, I think, to call Leicester.
I
wheels
do
come
think he has
massively
a
off.
character, though. He was pretty well pushed out of Arsenal. He scored the necessary goals for Barcelona. Lewandowski turns up in the summer, so
I
it's
think he has a
natural.
brass neck,
So then
is
there's
what
an
he has.
issue. There's an issue that he has to come back. He wants to play. Ultimately, he wants to play.
And he will turn up on November the 5th. As sure as day follows night, he will turn up on November the 5th when they play Arsenal.
Yeah.
Believe me, he'll
Yeah.
score in that game.
Yeah.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.